Endgame principles every chess player should know. The rook endgame is the most common endgame that happens in chess. White has an extra pawn. There is a very important rule to remember. If you have a material advantage, in this case, white has material advantage. It's suggested, often it's a good idea to exchange pieces, not pawns. It's white to move. If we look closely enough, we can see the move rook e8, forcing black to play rook f8, and thus exchanging rooks. With one extra pawn in rook endgames, it's quite often the draw. With one extra pawn in pawns endgames, it's 90% winning. So it's a winning endgame for white. The general principle number 2 of playing endgames is bring your king out and try to activate it as soon as possible. So your king should become a very powerful piece, should take part into action. The plan for white here is to bring your king into the center, then using the fact that a white has an extra pawn on one side, distract the opponent king by this pawn, and well, it needs to do something about this pass pawn, run to this side and win this one. That is going to distract the king, and using this distraction when it gets to this pawn and tries to win it, get with our king to black pawns, take them and promote our own pawns. The general principle number 3 is creating pass pawns. So let's have a look at this position. White has a very strong move, which is f4. This move blocks black's majority on the king side. 3 white pawns stops 4 black pawns. Even though white and black has same number of pawns, but the situation is quite different. And in fact, white has almost an extra pawn on the queen side. For example, something like this. White can use extra pawn to distract the black king while it stops this pass pawn. White gets to the king side pawns and wins them and wins the game. The final position, it's white to move. If you look at the pawns, that black's pawns here are poorly placed on the same color as the bishop, therefore limit their own bishop. The general principle number 4 is to put your pawns on the squares opposite of the color of your bishop. So f takes g5 is a very strong move, and when the white king gets to e5. For example, if black plays bishop e8, then it's easy to put black into zugzwang. If the king goes to d7, then our king gets to f6, and white will be winning quite easily. In summary, the endgame principles are 1. If material advantage, exchange pieces, not pawns. 2. Bring your king to the center into the action. 3. Create pass pawns. 4th, put pawns on the squares opposite of the color of your bishop. Subscribe to the channel for learning more.